back, and today I'm going to be discussing the 1.m update in Day of Dragons and all of the other smaller updates that came after it. The first video I made about this was about the Flame Stalker, and there I only reviewed the Flame Stalker, so here I'll talk about all of the other things. So a little while ago, I was given early access to review the Flame Stalker, and in that, the thermal vision, or the heat vision, how it's called actually in the game, well, you weren't actually able to see the shadow scales when they were fully cooked. That's like the main part of thermal vision. You can see shadow scales even when they're fully invisible, but back then you couldn't because obviously it wasn't completely done yet. And now when it came out, you could actually see them, but the problem was, for some reason, you couldn't use heat vision when you were flying, but later they changed that and now you can use it. So a lot of visual effects were added, and one of them, for example, is burning fire, which is with the Flame Stalker when you can burn things around you. So it's not as prominent as in another game I play, which is Dragons of the Edge. In there, the effects are way bigger and way more destructive, but the lead developer Zhao said that that's just it would slow down a lot of computers. It would be quite inconvenient, even though you can actually change the settings of the fire, how extreme you want it to be. But yeah, I think that's a very nice detail. So because of the new dragon, many things needed to be kind of tweaked and, made it balanced. So many stats and different things for the other two dragons were also changed. I will probably in the future make a video just comparing all of these dragons to see if it's balanced. I guess we'll see about that. But another big thing that was changed is how you actually become an elder. So obviously you can still collect mushrooms, become an elder, all of that. None of that has changed. But they actually added that every 12 hours you get an equivalent of one elder mushroom, which also you gotta keep in mind, this does not work if you do not log in. So for each dragon, so it's not just like, oh, you can log in and all of your dragons will become get that one mushroom. No, you need to log in for at least 1 minute in those 12 hours with each dragon individually, and only then will you actually get that mushroom. So in the best case scenario, you would then be getting 2 mushrooms per day, but you gotta keep in mind that you need to log in right after 12 hours, so you don't, I feel like not many people have the kind of time to always be there 12 hours exactly one apart from each other, so kind of look like maybe 1 mushroom per day every now and then. So there's also mutations in this game, and after you became an adult, when you eat 2 mushrooms, you get your 3rd mutation point, which you can use for whatever you want. But you cannot get these mutation points with just the mushrooms that you got for these 12 hours of gameplay. But you need to actually eat 2 mushrooms to get that. So if you became an elder without eating a single mushroom, you will not get that mutation point. You still need to at least search for 2 of them. So you need to count that for each dragon. It will probably take you, if you're not gonna search for mushrooms, and if you're just gonna do it with these 12 hours every time, you gotta keep in mind that it's probably gonna take you around probably more than a month or 2 months, depends on which dragon, I guess, because obviously for the Acid Spitter you need the least, then the Shadow Scale, and for the Flame Stalker it will probably take the longest. So also there has been a bunch of bug fixes, server administrations, and a bunch of miscellaneous things, which I will not go into detail now. So later, in the update where the Flame Stalker became available for everybody, again there was a bunch of bug fixes, a bunch of balancing, but also things about the new skins for the Flame Stalker. So in my last video, I only showed 4 skins. I showed all the ones that you could get randomly, and I showed the melanistic. So I'm gonna go over them quickly. So you have the iconic, I already showed that, you unlock it by default. You can just choose it in the spawn menu. You have the dark iconic, which is interesting, and you can also use it, spawn it in the menu, which is very interesting. That wasn't there before, and I do like it. It's quite realistic, but it's a bit dark. And now we have this weird thing. So remember live stream? This was one of the 2 most common. You had the iconic and you had live stream mostly. You would get them randomly, and I really liked it, but for some reason it's no longer available. It was usually available in the spawn menu. You could just choose it. But now it seems like it was replaced with this swamp gaze, I don't even know how to pronounce that word. But it seems like it was replaced because it's no longer obtainable. At least that's what people say. I'm not sure. Maybe you can still somehow get it in the random. Maybe there's a lower chance of getting it as spawning as a random dragon. But it seems like they just replaced it with this one, and this one is also, that swamp one is obtainable by choosing random in the spawn menu, but I don't really like it as much. I really loved the live stream. It was so pretty. It was so interesting, and they replaced it with this, I don't know, kind of disappointing, more dark one. It's just kind of, yeah, it's really like a swamp. I really don't like it that much. We also have Burning Bright, which is very, very hard to get. I showed it off in my last video. I only got it like 2 times, and I hatched over and over again like 100 times, so it is a rare skin, but it is so pretty. I love it. Then we have Hot Springs, which is a new one. You can choose it. You can get it as a random skin. I don't know. It's okay. It's not bad. It's not the best. Then we have the Melanistic one. I said all about it in my last video. There's the Lumerian, which is for the 2019 Kickstarter campaign. Leucistic, which is also for the 2019 Kickstarting campaign. There's the Crimson for supporting the game on Patreon. And then you also have all of the exotic skins. These ones you can get through skin crafting, aka breeding different dragons and seeing if you get if the baby gets a different skin. You have the Overa, which is a mix of the Melanistic and Leucistic. I really like this one. It's very like black and white. It's very cool. You have Lava Flow, which is the mix of the Iconic and Melanistic, and I mean, yeah, it's kind of what you would expect. It's almost completely black. It just, I think, has the spikes that are a bit like orangish or something. I don't know. It's not the most impressive. You have I Am Fire, which is a mix of the Melanistic and Burning Bright, but for me, this is literally the Iconic. I can barely see the difference between this one and the Iconic. I just think it's quite lame. I feel like there should have been something more there. And then there's Lava Ash, which is the mix of the Overo and Umerian, and I really like this one. It's very pretty. These are all the ones that the people have currently found. There's probably more that you can get from mixing different skins, but I guess we'll see that in the future. So of course, the new mushrooms were added for the Flame Stalker. So there's 16 of them, and on the map, I'll link it in the description again where all the mushrooms are. The fact that they're in a canyon, I mean, that's an interesting choice. Because obviously it's very convenient that they're all kind of here, and it's not entirely sure like how often they spawn, around like either 30 minutes, 3 hours, I don't know, it's very random. But it is kind of like a pretty good trap, I would say, because if a Flame Stalker flew in there, and for example like 2 or 3 acid spirits were waiting for them, that is pretty messy, because the Flame Stalker, I mean, if you can't fly out of the canyon properly because it's a canyon, it's probably way harder to fly out than some kind of like any other place, really. This could be a very deadly trap. And I feel like this kind of supports one of the biggest problems in Day of Dragons, which is clans protecting all the mushrooms. Like, trying to get all the elder mushrooms only for themselves. I feel like this is kind of helping them because, like, it's a canyon. It's very easy to, like, kill somebody if they come there trying to find the mushrooms. I don't know, I feel like this might need to get changed later. I don't think this will go as well as they thought. So there has been some improvements to the game, one of them being better lighting, which is quite nice. There's also, this is kind of fun, when a creature is swimming underwater, they can no longer be damaged with fire or acid, but I guess plasma still works, so all of the other, like, you know, long-range attacks, I guess it makes sense fire would be neutralized in water and acid as well. So one of the other problems was desynchronization, when the server would just kick you out if it didn't synchronize properly, and now it can still kick you out, but before you had to restart the whole game to get back in, but now you don't have to do that, so that's quite convenient. So also local group and clan chat tabs are now in different colors, so that's way more convenient than before, because before I would easily get confused between them because there wasn't much of a difference, but if they're now in colors, I don't think it's gonna be, like, confusing. And after that, we only had 3 more very small updates. They were only here to just fix some smaller bugs, nothing too important. So I hope I summarized it all well. Anyways, that was pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.